Hello and welcome to Saturday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where we have a debut on the channel for the constructor Fluster today. Now I can tell you that two of our testers say that this is one of the greatest Sudoku puzzles they have ever solved. So make of that what you will. What I can tell you is that this grid looks awfully digitless to me. It looks barbaric. So I suspect this is going to be challenging. I don't know how difficult it is. They haven't told me that, so we shall see. What I do know is that I can't take too long about solving it because I've been waylaid by golf and other things today, so I'm recording this extremely late on Saturday, so if I mess it up there could be real trouble with this video or any video seeing the light of day by 8:30 this evening. So give me some luck, please. Just to mention, if you're a fan of the cryptic crosswords, do have a look at the video we released at 10 o'clock this morning, where I have a crack at Dave Gorman's most recent cryptic from The Independent. Lovely puzzle, and yeah, definitely worth a look if you like cryptic crosswords. Now, with all that said, and with the time against us, let's get on to the rules of this one. So, normal Sudoku rules apply. Digits cannot repeat within a cage. Cages with the same size must have the same sum. And cages with different sizes must have different sums. And believe it or not, that is it. I mean, that is absolutely extraordinary that this puzzle has a unique solution. I know that there will be a number of constructors looking at this grid going, what? But it clearly must have. The testers do not tend to lie to me. So I'm going to have a go now. Do have a go yourselves. The way to play is to click the link under the video. Now I get to play this intriguing puzzle. Let's get cracking. Well, okay. I can write something into this square. This square has got to be odd. Why do I say that? Well, this is because, of course, of the secret. Now, if you know the secret, you'll be halfway to knowing why this is odd. The secret is that in any box, or correct row, or correct column of a Sudoku, you'll find all of the digits from 1 to 9. And if you add up the digits 1 to 9, you get 45. So, this whole box adds to 45. But we know that the two 4-cell cages, well, this cage, whatever it adds up to, and this cage, whatever it adds up to, add up to the same number. That's what the instructions tell us. So this can be represented as 2x. In other words, these 8 cells add to an even number. Therefore, in order to get to 45, that must be odd. It doesn't tell us anything about this cell. It does tell us something about the size of the 4-cell cage, so we probably should work out that, shouldn't we? So if we make this 9, which is the most it can be, then these cells would add up to 36, 45 minus 9, which would make each one of them have to add up to 18. So the lowest value a 4-cell cage can add up to is 18. Now the highest will be 22, because if we lop 1 off 45, we get 44, and 44 divided by 2 is 22, I think. So actually, that's interesting. The 4-cell cages are not, they don't have a panoply of options. They're either 18, 19, 20, 21 or 22, so they've got 5 options. Okay, so let's hunt in the grid for other boxes like this one where we can learn more about what's going on. Right, let us find something else. I'm not seeing anything at all at the second. Just let me have a stare at this. There will be something, I am sure. He says, as he stares with increasing desperation at this. What is going on here? We've got something going on in this box, perhaps, because we know that this cage, which is a 4-cell cage, is some number from 18 to 22 inclusive. And we know we've just got 2 cell cages to fill it up with. So if we make this square maximum, let's make this a 9, and let's make the 4 cell cage as big as we can, which was 22. So 9 plus 22 is 31. These squares would have to add up to 14. So the minimum we can make a 2 cell cage is 7. If, on the other hand, we take the alternative route, which would be to minimize everything, we'll make this a 1, we'll make this 18, wasn't it? So that's 19 for those. That's not going to work because these will... Yeah. Oh, no, it is going to work. What am I talking about? I'm going mad. It is going to work. 19, 26... So that's 13, is it? So these have to be 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That is not nearly restrictive enough. I'm just going to check my maths there because I didn't feel like it was flowing off my mind. Minimizing this, that was 18 was the minimum because 36 was what we would get here. So we've got 18, 19, it is 26. That is 13. Okay. No, I'm afraid even if I do it twice, it doesn't get any better. So we've got 2 cell cages being some number from 7 to 13 inclusive. And we've got 4 cells being 18 to 22. This is nowhere near good enough. Absolutely nowhere near. Oh, I know what we'll have to do. We'll have to highlight the 1 cell cages because they must add up to the same number. Sorry, that is me being slow. How many of these have we got? Don't know. Let's highlight them. Just have a look at them. So we've got these. I'm not sure if I've missed one. I think it would actually be quite easy to miss one. I don't think I have. Now, this is interesting though. Look. Because where does purple go in box 6? It's got to go there, by Sudoku of all things. So purple's in one of those 2 squares in box 8. It's in one of those squares in box 1. We don't know much about where it goes. It goes in one of 4 cells in box 2. Oh dear. I thought that was a sensible idea, but it doesn't actually seem to have done anything. Has anyone got any other ideas here? What on earth are you meant to do to start this puzzle? We've got 3 cell cages. This is impossible. We've got 3 cell cages here, but then we've got 2s. I was wondering whether I could do something. Oh, I've just managed to move the screen. Let's try and undo moving the screen. So what I was thinking was maybe I could use these 2 boxes, which I would know in total must add to 90. But although I've got 3 cell cages there, I've got a 2 cell cage, I've got 1 cell cages and a 5 cell cage. So until I know more about these things, I do not know how to use that. Oh no! Oh dear, this could be short-lived, this one, I think. I have a horrible feeling this is just... It's too late in the day for me to try and solve something this complicated. I'm so stupid, I really am. This box, no. The 2 cell cage is restricted to a number between 7 and, 13 inclusive, but we don't know anything about the value of the 1 cell cage or the 5 cell cage, so I can't get this value. We've got, you can see it's like the grid's been divided into regions. That all of the cages in boxes 4 and 7 fit snugly in. All of the cages in these boxes, look, boxes 5, 6, 8 and 9 all fit snugly in, and then you've got the same thing in rows 1, 2 and 3 where all the cages are fitting snugly in. I think it looks like the biggest cage is a 5-cell cage. Is that right? There's a 5-cell cage here. 5-cell cage there. 5-cell cage. Just trying to pick off the big cages. Let's just have a look. Oh, there's some down here as well. But they're all 5. There's no 6-cell cages unless I've missed one. 5. There are 5 5-cell cages. Let's count how many 4-cell cages there are. 1, 2, 3. Can't find any more. 4, 5. I'm actually going to colour them, I think, because I'm going to miscount them otherwise. Are there 5 4-cell cages or more? What's that one? That's the 5-cell cage. How many 5-cell cages were there? 5 as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just have a look at that. 2, 3. That is a little bit interesting. In fact, look at that. That is interesting. Hang on, I've found something maybe. There are 5 3-cell cages, and look, there are, in the grid, ignore this square for a moment. In fact, well, let's get rid of that square's highlighting, because that was caused by Sudoku, not by the fact that these single-cell cages exist. But there are 5 single-cell cages. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But there are 8 2-cell cages. Right, this is interesting. This is definitely important, I think, because maybe what we can do, I have a feeling does this mean that a 2-cell cage has to sum to a number divisible by 5? So what I'm thinking here is let's take the secret up to 11. So we know that that box of the Sudoku adds up to 45 if we fill it in correctly, and we know that there are 9 boxes in a Sudoku. So 45 divided by, or still not divided, 45 times by 9 is 405. So I know if we add all of the correct digits in this Sudoku, we get 405. Now, one way of expressing 405 in relation to this Sudoku, if we think about the 5-cell cages, the 4-cell cages, the 3-cell cages, and the 1-cell cages, and we add up one 5-cell cage, whatever the 5-cell cage adds up to, we're going to add that total to whatever the 4-cell cage adds up to whatever the 3-cell cage adds up to whatever the 1-cell cage adds up to. That will give us a number. We'll call that number x. We know that 5 lots of x plus 8 lots of y, which I will say is the sum of the 2-cell cages, 5x plus 8y equals 405. But we know that 5x is always giving us a multiple of 5, so we are deducting from 405 a multiple of 5. Well, 405 is itself divisible by 5, which means 8 times x must be equal to a number that is divisible by 5. Well, 8 is not divisible by 5 exactly, so that means that, sorry, did I say 8? So 8y, whatever y is, y must be divisible by 5. It must be, otherwise the maths will not work. Now, if y is divisible by 5, The options for y were between, this is unbelievable, were between 7 and 13. Well, the only number that's between 7 and 13 that's divisible by 5 is 10. Is that good mathematics? I think it is. I have never seen anything quite like this before, I don't think. But that feels right to me. 5x, whatever x is, deduct it from 405, it's going to be a number that's divisible by 5. It must be. That is what the maths is telling us. So 8y must be equal to a number divisible by 5. The only way that works, I'm comfortable, is if y is divisible by 5. And the only way y is divisible by 5, because of the geometry of this box, is if it is 10. Now, I'm not saying that that's a particularly large breakthrough, but at least I know one of the cage totals now, and I know that's not a 5. Because if that was a 5, and given that the 2-cell cage is adding to 10, if that was a 5, that would be a 5. So now, this box down here, presumably I can get a slight restriction, can I, on this square? Because that's going to be 20 for these 4 squares, plus, what was it, 18, 19, 20, 21, or 22. Okay, so if it's 18 in here, we'd have 38, this would be a 7. 19 would give us, have to give us a 6. So all the way to 22, which is going to give us a 3. Which means this square must be the opposite. So 5 is not possible here. So 5 is not possible. So that's ruling out one of the options for that. Which will be... Oh, if that's 20... Yeah, in fact, we'd already learnt that, hadn't we? By this not being able to be 5, you can rule out 20 as an option for the 4-cell cage, because 20 plus 20 is 40, 45 minus 40 is the 5 that we were trying to put in there, which we can't put in there because you can't put double 5 in a 10 cage. So 20 is ruled out. So this is either 3, 7 or 4, 6. And now the options for the 4-cell cage is 18, 19, 21 and 22. Now, what do we do with this though? I need to be able to use the fact I now know the totals for the 2-cell cages. So, where is this telling me the magic of the universe? It's telling... don't know. It feels like it's this box only, doesn't it? But I don't think I can do anything else with this box. How on earth did you go about constructing this? This is completely insane. I think I forgot to tell you this, but I think that the email I had from the tester said that this is Fluster's first puzzle. If that's true, that is quite unbelievable. So here I can't see what to do with that. I can't really see what to do with this. Can I do anything at the top of the grid? I don't think we're going to be able to do anything at the top of the grid either. Oh, no, hang on, I've had another idea. I can work out the value. I can work out the value of a 5-cell cage, a 4-cell cage, a 3-cell cage and a 1-cell cage now, can't I? Because I know the whole grid. The whole grid adds to 405, and the whole, if I take all of the 2-cell cages out, that's 8 lots of the 2-cell cages, which add up to 10 each. So that's 80 off that. So 405 minus 80 is 325. And we know that that's 5 lots of the sum of 1 5-cell cage, 1 4-cell cage, 1 3-cell cage, and 1 1-cell cage, Simon. So 325, that's 65. 325 divided by 5 is 65. So 65 is the total for a 5-cell cage, a 4-cell cage. Is there an area of the grid we can use? Oh, 5-cell cage, a 4-cell cage. No, there's no 3-cell cages. What about the top? We've got a 5-cell cage. It's not quite right. It's not bad, but it's not quite right. We've got a 5-cell cage, a 4-cell cage, a 3-cell cage, and a 1-cell cage. So I know that those highlighted squares, it's not actually very clear how I'm doing. Maybe I should get rid of the colouring. But basically those squares plus that's 1 4-cell cage plus 1 3-cell cage plus 1 1-cell cage. So these squares add up to 65. Plus that one, that's 75. So the rest of this row, okay, I'm going to get rid of the colouring. Sorry, I'm finding it hard to explain this, and I think it'll do me good to just get rid of the colouring. So I'm thinking I might be able to use these 3 rows of the grid, which I know in total, well, that row's 45, that's 45, and that's 45. That's 135. Now, this plus this plus this plus that we know is 65. If I add a 2-cell cage in, that's 75. So this is 75, which means the remainder of this row, so let me get this right, it looks like it's a 5-cell, a 4-cell, and a 3-cell. So it's that one, and that one, must add up to 135 minus 75, which is 60. And that's beautiful, because now I know the size of a 1-cell cage. I don't know if this is the way you're meant to do this puzzle, but this is absolutely beautiful, because now, if I know those cells I've just highlighted are equal to 60, but I also know that a 5-cell cage plus a 4-cell cage plus a 3-cell cage plus a 1-cell cage is equal to 65, then you don't have to be a genius to work out that the 1-cell cage must be equal to 5, and that means I can fill it in. So the purple squares, I don't know if I've lost some of them because I was messing about with the colouring. The purple squares are 5, and I get that one. That's a 5 as well, because this one was one that was originally purple by the power of Sudoku. Oh, please have an option to go in there, because I can't put 5 in a 10 cage. I can't. Look, where does the 5 go in box 8? And the answer is in one of those 2 squares, and I can't put it here because it would have to accompany another 5. So that we get another digit, another 5. 5 is in one of those 2 squares. Ah, no, okay, we can't do it. So the 5 is in one of these dominoes. So I think we've got 7 5s now, and I've got digits in the grid. And I now know much more about the puzzle. I know that the 1-cell cage is a 5, the 2-cell cage is a 10, so presumably the 3-cell cage is a 15, the 4-cell cage is a 20, and the 5-cell cage is a 25. There we go, we've done it. Is that even likely? 25. no, it's not possible, in fact, for that to be true. This box would break, wouldn't it? That would be a 10, that would be a 25, and that being a 5 would put a 5 here to make 45, and that would break for all sorts of reasons. Doubling the 5 in this cage, doubling the 5 in box 9, doubling the 5 in column 7, and doubling the 5 in row 9. It breaks in just about every way possible. Now we must be able to do more now, though. We can. So now there's this funny relationship here, look, between 5-cell cages and 3-cell cages, because that's adding up to 10, so we've got 20 in those. We know both boxes together add up to 90, 45 times 2. So we've got 1 5-cell cage plus 3 3-cell cages equals 70. Oof. Okay, I'm not immediately seeing what I meant to do with that, I have to be honest. We got more we can do. Maybe it's these 4 boxes then. What have we got in these 4 boxes? We've got no 3-cell cages. Hang on, I'm getting confused now. So I've got 3 4-cell cages and 2 5-cell cages, and then a whole load of stuff where I actually know the value of it. Right, okay, so we can get some information about the relative size of 4 and 5-cell cages here, because we know that 1 box is 45, so 4 boxes of the Sudoku, all of these squares, is 180. So we've got 180, but now I've got to be careful here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think. Does that look right? Is that 6 2-cell cages? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 60 in those squares. And then I've got some 1-cell cages. I've got that one and that one. So that's 70. So the 4-cell cages and the 5-cell cages are adding up to 110. 180 minus 70 is 110. And I've got two 5-cell cages and 3 4-cell cages. So, okay, that is interesting. That's going to allow me to restrict the value of the 4-cell cage slightly, because whether a 5-cell cage is odd or even, I know that 2 lots of that digit, 2 lots of that number, will add up to an even number. 110 is even, so if I deduct an even number from 110, I get an even number, and we're saying that 3 lots of the 4-cell cage is equaling an even number. So we cannot be using an odd number there, because an odd number times an odd number is an odd number. So the 4-cell cage is an even number, and therefore it's what was we looking at? I can't remember. We've got 18 was an option, wasn't it? So we can rule out 19. We've ruled out 20 because 20 gave us a 5 here. So it's 18. It's not 21. So it's 18 or 22 now for the 4-cell cage. 2 options, 18 and 22. Oh, I'm going to have to... So now I'm going to be able to work out... There are now only 2 possible values for a 5-cell cage. So we now know that 2 lots of a 5-cell cage is equal to 110 minus 3 lots of either 18 or 22. Oh, you must be looking at me thinking, your maths is so bad. I hate doing this sort of thing on camera. So, 3 lots of 18 are 54. I know that from playing darts. So, that means that we'd be left with, what am I going for, 110, which is 56. So two 5-cell cages and 56. So one possibility is the 5-cell cage is 28, I think. So if the 4-cell cage is 18, the 5-cell cage is 28. Okay. Now, if the 4-cell cage was 22, you'd have 3 lots of that, 66. What are we going for? 110. So we'd be looking for 44 for 2 lots. Oh, this is unbelievable. Please let that be right. Please let my mental arithmetic be right. You get 22, I think, for the 5-cell cage. If that's true, that is extraordinary. If that's right, that is absolutely unbelievable. So Fluster has disambiguated the 4-cell total by forcing it. The 2 options that we've got now, one of them I think gives the same value for a 5-cell cage and a 4-cell cage, which is not allowed. Let me double check. 22, which is the high option for this, 3 lots of 22 is 66. Which means that we're getting to 110, so we need 44 for the 2 5-cell cages, which means that we need each one to equal 22, which is what we've just started with the 4-cell cage. Does not work. This is absolutely brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. So now we know what the 4-cell cage is. It's 18. The 4-cell cage is 18. The 5-cell cage was 20. I've forgotten. It was 54, wasn't it? 54, so 56, 28. The 5-cell cage is 28. And we know the 2-cell cage is 10. And we know the 1-cell cage is 5. And I can now see I'm going to be able to work out the 3-cell cage by just using these. Because look, now I know the 3 unknowns, being the 2-cell cage, which is a 10, the 2 1-cell cages, it's another 10, that's 20, and this one, which is the 5-cell cage, which is 28, that's 48, which means these cages have to add up to 42, because we know both boxes add up to 90, and 3 does divide into 42 and gives 14. So I think the 3-cell cage is 14. I'm just going to say this slowly so that I remember it. The 3-cell cage is 14. The 4-cell cage is 18. And the 5-cell cage is 28. And now, what do we do with this? We can presumably, I tell you what we can do. We can get rid of the colouring. Oh, maybe I should keep the colouring. Do I keep the colouring? I don't think we need the colouring now. That might be foolish, though. No, we can just use maths now. We can surely just use maths, because I now know that a 4-cell cage is 18. I know this is a 9, don't I? Yes, I do, because 18 plus 18 is 36. This must be a 9. This is a 2-cell cage, so that's become a 1. Now, I know I can see I can get that digit. Let me just have a stare at this and think about whether there's any easier digits than that. I'm not seeing anything instant. So let's get this digit, because we know that that's 18 plus 10 is 28, 38, that's a 7, which means that's a 3 to make this add up to 10. Now we can get this digit, just doing exactly the same trickery. We know the box is 45. We've got 18. 18 plus 8 is 26, 36. That's a 9. Now we can get this digit, I think, because this box is adding up to 18. So look, this is huge. These 3 squares add up to 9 because we know the whole box adds up to 18, or the whole cage here adds up to 18. How do you make 3 cells add to 9 if you can't use a 1? There's only one way, 2, 3 and 4. This means this cage is a 1, 9 cage because it has to add up to 10. It's not 2, 8, 3, 7 or 4, 6. And we can still get this digit. Hang on, I'm getting sidetracked. We've got 9 here, 19 here. So those 4 squares must add up to 26. A 5 cell cage added up to 28. So this square is a 2. There's a little restriction on this domino. It can't be 1, 9. It can't be 2, 8. So that domino is 3, 7 or 4, 6. Which might be handy, but might not be. Now, come on, keep going. How do we make more progress now? That square can't be a 2. This column, I suppose, we've got to place 6, 7 and 8 into it. What now? Oh, hang on, we can get some magic done in row 3 because I now know what that adds up to. That was 28, 38, so these add up to 7. Well, I can see it's not 1, 6. It looks like it's going to be 5, 2, but it could be 3, 4. So let's put the options in actually, 5, 2 or 3, 4. Column 3, we can also do maths on. Look, we've got 28 there, 33, oh, huge. We've got 42. These squares here add up to 42. So what does this domino add up to? It must be adding up to 3. So that's 1 and 2. And a 4 cell cage is adding up to 18. This is lovely because that means this domino adds up to 15. It doesn't use 9. So that's a 7, 8 pair. This is a 6. Oh, come on. We haven't got 2 anymore in there. What was it? I thought these add up to 7, didn't I? So so these are now so these are now 3 and 4, which means the 5 must move up to move up to the top. That's now all the 5's done. So let's tidy up that pencil marking. We presumably get this digit, which must be a 6, by either Sudoku or maths, depending on which we prefer. This cage does add up to 18, so that's good. 6 now is in one of 3 positions in box 3. And we pause for breath while we have another think. Okay. We can do a bit of Sudoku look on this box. 9 has to be in one of those 2 squares, but it can't go there because this cage is only adding up to 14. So 9 plus 7 would already break the total. So I think the 9 goes at the top. So the 9 can't repeat in this cage in this box. So the 9 is in this cage here. And that means, oh no, okay. So this is either 914 or 923, depending on things. 7 though is lovely now. This is really beautiful because now this 7, you can't put 7 in that cage because it's going to blow its total of 14. So the 7's down there. So 7 is in this cage in box 2. Right, we could do the same trick again. Can you put 7 in this cage here if it's not in this square? the answer's no. If you put 7 here or here, this will be an 8, and this cage will add up to 15 already, but overall it can only add up to 14. So the 7 can only go there, which means this square is an 8 by Sudoku. These two squares now have to add up to 7 without being 1, 6 or 2, 5. So they're 3 and 4, which we can do. 3, 4 go into the grid. 8 goes into the grid by Sudoku, and this square is a 2, which fixes those two squares, and we're suddenly getting somewhere here. And I have to say, if this puzzle did become slightly easier now, that would be absolutely brilliant, because some of the logic that has been invested in this puzzle by Fluster is so gorgeous that it would almost be a shame if now you had to do something monstrously difficult Sudoku-wise to crack it. Now, hang on, what can we do now? 2, look, has to be in those squares. It's not there. I think we've got to do Sudoku now, though. Let's have a look. We've got 2, 6 and 7 along here. So we get this square. That's a 6. So let's put 2 and 7 into these. Oh, this is nice. So now we know what this is, because it's not got a 2 in it. So this is 9, 1, 4. The 4 here tells us the order. So this is a 1, 9 pair. Those squares must include an 8. In fact, the 8 must go there to complete row 2. And this square has become a 3. And the world is on its correct axis at the moment. Now, 1, 4, 9 down there, look. So let's put those in and see what the options are. This square has to be the complement of this, adding up to 10. So this is 1, 9 or 6. That square is no longer a 4, which means that square is no longer a 6. This domino adds up to 10. It's not 1, 9, 2, 8 or 3, 7, so that's a 4, 6 domino, which means that the rest of this column needs to have in it a 7 and an 8, and this 8 is telling us nice things about the world. 8 and 7 go in. This is a 1, 2 pair. 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 at the bottom of the grid. Those two squares are 6 and 7. Don't know if we can do that. This domino is not 4, 6 or 3, 7, so this is 1, 9 or 2, 8. I have a feeling if it's 1, 9, don't these squares become too stretched? Yeah, they do. I mean, you'd have to put 4 into both of those, so this must be 2, 8, and that means that square's all good. That's all fixed. 2 and 1 go in. This can't now be 1, 9 and must be 4, 6. This square is, this is almost, and now 9 in this row has to go here. This has to be a 3. Keep going, keep going. Now that's a 9. That's a 1. Those two squares are 1 and 3. Oh, it's almost going too well now. Imagine if I break this, I will actually cry on camera, I think. This is 2, 7. Come on, Simon. 3, 6, 9 down here. Don't know if we can do that. This 1 is giving me that square. That's a 1. That's a 9. That's not like, so 9 must hide in the corner. It doesn't get a song for that. It's only if it's 3. Okay, and we pause for breath again. Now, can we work out the value of that domino? Surely we can, because I know that 3 cell cages add to 14. So I've got 28 plus 5 is 33. These two squares have got to add up to 12. And they must therefore be 4, 8, I think. Which means these two squares have got to be 6 and 7, and that should be written in, which gets us the 6 and the 4, which means that squares are 4, which, oops, 4 and 3 go in. Now these squares have got to be 2 and something, 2 and 8. Oh, bobbins, it's not done. 2, 8 go in. Now 9. Yes, 9 I can place here. This is 14, isn't it? So this needs to be a 2-3 pair. And look, it still can be. The 1 and the 4 have gone, but the 2 and the 3 are available. And that fixes the 2 here, the 8 and the 7. 7 lives in this domino. In fact, I must know what this domino is. 1 I can just place. It's a 1, 6, 7. So the 6 goes here, the 7 goes here. This 6 is fixing a 6 and a 7 here. This 6 is fixing a 3 here. That's a 7 because it's got to add up to 10. The 3 and the 2 go in. That's a 4, 3, 2, 4, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 8 into these squares. I think it's working. I think it is working. Come on. Yes. It only took me 45 minutes, which isn't actually ages. That is utterly brilliant. I am just in awe of that construction. In awe. That is one of the great Sudokus, because there is nothing. There are no given digits at all, and just this vague thing about the fact that cages of the same size have to add to the same number and cages of different size have to add to different numbers. But when you read that rule set, you think, well, there's going to be loads of 9-cell cages. You know, it'll sort itself out. This absolutely does not sort itself out. The work you have to do, even to find out that the 2-cell cages are 10 of size 10, is just, it's incredible. You have to do sort of meta logic on the whole puzzle. That is just, it's a work of art. It really is. And to embed all of these simultaneous equations, that's the only way of describing it, in the puzzle, that allow you to use parity to narrow down the... It's just brilliant. It's just brilliant. Fluster, take a bow. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you stayed with it. I hope you had a go. I really hope you solved it, because I'm going to be reading the comments on this one with interest. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.